Welcome once again to our weekly Patch Notes wrap-up, simply titled Patch Notes. I am Duke, and I have with me again Daniel.
Hello.
And we're looking at the December 11th Patch Notes, December 11th, 2018. It's a pretty big one. Previously, they didn't put every single little detail in the Patch Notes, and people were none too pleased with that. So they have gifted us with a wall of text.
Yeah, they definitely fixed the not enough information issue.
Yeah, so if you were curious to any changes that happened on the traditional Chinese game client, they're in the patch notes. We will be skipping the bug fixes section simply because it is way too long for us to just sit and discuss. But you can certainly go and...
If you want to sit here and listen to our voice for half an hour, we can do a special for only $10.99.
Yeah, right. Our extremely specialized show, monetized. All right, so this is a pretty big one too. Not big in size, just big in quality of life changes for the game. Going forward now, they're going to be doing, well, until they decide to do something else anyway, PC updates on Tuesday and console updates on Thursdays. They say that's to allow further testing on the console version, so they're not putting out multiple patches to fix.
Well, and they also said that they can do hot fixes a lot quicker on PC than they can on console.
Right, yeah, I think that's the biggest part of it is that the PC patch is sort of I'm not going to say that we're beta testing for console, but that's kind of what it is. So when Thursday rolls around, anything that did pop up, they can nail down before pushing that update. This one's going to be around 5 gig for consoles and about 3 gig for PC. So a lot smaller than the previous ones. And jumping right into it, they start off with performance and stability issues on clients and game server. Never a bad thing, and hopefully it actually is noticeable this time around.
Hopefully we can actually launch nukes without the server crashing.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty hit and miss along with a lot of other things. So that's always good, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of that for the foreseeable future. They made a change to the lighting. The exposure values have been adjusted for exterior environments, allowing them to appear brighter in dark conditions. I think that's pretty cool, because certain areas, when it's night, are really hard to see. So, couple balance things in terms of enemies and loot. 308 ammo dropped by creatures has been reduced. So players will now receive 308 ammo in stacks of 1 to 5 rather than up to 12 for a single kill. So those of us with hunting rifles that have been hoarding 308, continue hoarding that 308. It's going to be a little harder to come by.
Yeah, RIP my 700 rounds of 308.
Yeah, I think I have 900 something last I checked this morning. Super mutants will now drop gunpowder half as often, and the chance for additional loot has been reduced, though caps are guaranteed loot on super mutants until level 16. So not quite as much gunpowder from super mutants, which...
we had too much gunpowder already.
They did, yeah. I mean, I never pick it up anyway. But I know starting out early on in the game, every little bit of gunpowder really helped. So kind of a give and a take, I suppose. But they did drop way too much, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned on the Discord that I once dropped 30 or 40 pounds of gunpowder.
Yeah, you said that. That sounds about right. I've trashed plenty of gunpowder. Let's see here. The Scorch Beast Queen will now thankfully land on the ground more often.
Thank goodness. Finally gonna be able to kill her.
Yes. I've participated in one kill that took about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I've participated in the battles, haven't killed anything.
I think the reason it took us so long too, one, we had pretty much the entire server was there, but it was people from anywhere from level 40 up to probably the 160s or 180s.
Yeah.
So I don't think the damage wasn't there, but definitely her not landing on the ground was a big part of it. So that'll be cool. And players will no longer gain XP when crafting at public workshops. So that's a thing, and it's now no longer a thing.
That makes sense a little bit, I guess. I mean, you go capture a workshop, you use the free scrap you get there, craft a bunch of stuff, get a whole bunch of levels. Seems like a decent balance patch.
Yeah, I'd say that balance, because you're getting all the... I go for that. The biggest part of this patch, I think, is the quality of life changes they've made to to camps. They were previously calling this the bulldozer tool, air quotes around bulldozer. They don't mention bulldozer tool in this, but what they're doing is any rocks, small trees, and other objects will no longer prevent players from building items in those locations. And these obstructions are now automatically removed upon constructing objects and structures in camp, such as foundations.
It's kind of disappointing to me because, when it first got announced, 2 weeks ago, it kind of sounded like a separate tool we could use, and we could actually remove these objects. But now we can just place objects where they were.
Yeah. Well, the objects do still disappear at least. But yeah, it would have been kind of cool to have another UI element to just get rid of the stuff you didn't want. To pretty up this landscape a little bit.
Yeah, I'll just probably place meat fruit plants if I don't want something there, but
There you go. That's something. But it says here also that placing an object to remove an obstruction and then removing that object will cause that obstruction to reappear after some time or upon logging back in. So we're not making any permanent changes to the landscape, just temporarily making them vanish more or less. And the little animation that plays along with it on the patch notes post from Bethesda is pretty cut and dry. I think this will make at least camp building a lot easier, so we don't have to worry about rocks and tree stumps and for foundations especially.
Finally.
That's good. Yeah. And the other big thing, along with making it easier to build your camp, you don't have to worry about losing it when you log in anymore. A notification will now be displayed to players upon logging into a world if their current camp location is occupied by someone else. If they chose to remain in that world, they will be able to place their camp in a new location for free. And alternatively, if the player decides not to place their camp in a new location and instead joins a new world, their camp will be automatically placed back in its original location, provided that spot is unoccupied. Basically, when you log in, if somebody's in your spot, it says, hey, somebody's in your spot. Do you still want to go here? If not, it hops you to another server. That's what I'm reading anyway.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with someone being in my spot because I have really interesting spots for my camps.
Well, and you told me in Discord a couple days ago that you go for you're just looking for good scenery. You're not looking for resources necessarily.
Yeah, I try and find a nice mix of everything.
Yeah, see, and I've got mine. Previously, I was at a junk resource node just south of the White Springs, which was pretty much, I was guaranteed to lose that pretty much once a day, just logging in or server hopping or whatever. And then for about the last 3 or 4 days now, I've had it up in a spot where I can get lead and junk in the same camp from 2 different nodes if it's placed just right. And that one's pretty much almost every login. It's taken. So let's see, here's a couple additional changes to camps. The percentage of camp budget that is being taken up by stored items and blueprints will now appear in the budget bar, which is pretty cool.
Isn't that I don't know about blueprints, but I know stored items have always appeared in mine.
It appears in there, but I think what they're saying here is that
there's going to be differentiation.
Right, so it'll be yellow and blue or whatever color they choose. So it'll be kind of cool to see how much your stored stuff is taking up versus actual in-world stuff.
Be able to just easily look and not have to remember that you have stored stuff too.
Yeah, rummage through it, yeah. And then also in build mode, players can now toggle the left joystick on controllers or press Q on PC to switch view between objects that can be built and those that cannot. That should speed up the process a little bit too. As fun as it is to flip through all of the different things that I haven't unlocked yet, and it'd be nice to just be able to see what I can actually make. This one's kind of interesting, I thought too. Players can now purchase Atomic Shop items directly through the workshop menu.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that windmill though.
I'm going back to the windmill too. Definitely, I wasn't skipping the windmill. I was just with the Atomic Shop. I know it was a lot of confusion with somebody who would buy like an outfit or a decoration, and then so you go to the Atomic Shop window, buy it. They have to find it in the Atomic Shop to build it, and there's one extra level of complexity that didn't need to be there. So it's a lot easier now. I think that's a good thing. But yeah, the windmill one. This is big. Power produced by the windmill has been increased from 3 to 12.
400% increase.
Yep, that is, especially early on, if you find the windmill pattern, that'll last you quite a while, because instead of having to build like multiple generators.
I think at one point I had like 4 windmills because I didn't like the noise and the aesthetic of the large generators.
Yeah.
but the windmills don't produce like any power. So this would have been helpful back, what, 40 levels ago?
Yeah, it's funny. I just found the windmill plans earlier this week. Well, it would have been over the weekend. I never had it before, so it's good to know that it's there. I run my fusion generator at my camp now, so I don't worry about power. But
yeah, I pretty much I found like the small, the medium, the large, the windmill, and then I finally got the fusion plant, and that was all I wanted.
Yeah, it's worth the budget. I think just run the wires creatively, and it's all you need. But that's a really good change for the windmill for extra power without the extra materials, or as you said, ruining your beautiful landscape with the thing chugging smoke into the air.
And the noise. Ooh.
And the noise, yeah. Another really big one on this patch, too, is respecking has finally arrived. We talked about this briefly in the last episode of our full show. And every time the player levels up after level 50, so starting at level 51, they can now choose whether to unlock a new perk card or transfer one previously allocated special point from one category to another. It says here, though, that this change is not retroactive for characters that have already progressed beyond level 50, but will apply to every level up they achieve going forward. As nice as it would be to have a all-at-once, just reallocate my points thing, I think this is a good way of doing it.
Yep. I mean, either way, I'm glad to be finally able to just knock all my points out of one category and just stick them all in luck so I can get everything repaired.
And see, I think I'm going to keep 2 points in luck and then take all the rest out and put them elsewhere. So,
see, I'm really loving that lucky break and the other one.
Oh, the gun one.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. No, I really just want to keep those points in there for super duper and then put the rest somewhere else. And it's nice if you're crafting a ton of ammo and then you get those super duper crits pop and you get double ammo. It's nice. Ooh. So, and they've also added the details for the respecking to the perks section of the in-game help menu. So if you have questions about it, you will find answers there. A couple of little changes to some quests. With event quests, a 15-minute cooldown timer has been added at the end of each Enclave event quest. And the XP amounts, I'm not going to read the list, but of several event quests has been reduced. And the cooldown timer for those particular events has been increased from 48 minutes to 1 hour and 12 minutes.
I love just very specific amounts that things have been increased.
Yes, the 1 hour and 12 minutes is interesting. They either have a very, very specific reason for that time, or they made it odd to seem like they have a very specific reason for that time. I'm not going to read the whole list because it's a handful of events, but the two in their jailbreak and patrol duty, I'm really sad to see increased timers on because I've been farming the heck out of those trying to get the homemade rifle schematics, and seeing them don't see them often anyway, and now seeing them even less is just going to mean more server hopping. Let's see here, and some interface changes. Push to talk will be on PC and will be defaulted to the caps lock key, and the always run toggle key is going to be moved to / which is a thing. Hasn't caps lock always been auto run in Fallout?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I feel like I'm gonna accidentally.
You can rebind.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to redo the keys.
Yeah, it's a weird place to put it. It's right there where it makes more sense for a movement key, but it's rebindable. Yeah. So they've definitely an odd choice, though, I think. They have added a depth of field slider to the display menu settings and a field of view slider to the display settings. The field of view can be adjusted in increments of 5 to a maximum of 120 and a minimum of 70. I'm happy for the field of view changes just to be able to bump it up a little bit. I think it'll be a lot more comfortable to play. The 21:9 resolution support is here, so widescreen fans rejoice. Your big monitors will now look all that much better while playing 76. And a couple other quick interface updates. The AFK timer has been increased from 10 minutes to 30 minutes.
Thank goodness.
And the warning prompt. What's that?
Thank goodness. 10 minutes was really, really, really short.
Yeah, it was. So 30 minutes is good, and then you get a 3-minute warning will display instead of a 1-minute warning. The new items in the Atomic Shop will be displayed as new with a little icon, and they will sort to the front of their associated subsections.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't seem to announce when new stuff is added, so it's always just kind of scrolling through there and trying to notice it. So this will be nice. This one for the compass, I think, is a little bit kind of crazy. The maximums have been implemented for each type of marker that can appear in the compass, and up to 60 markers in total can be visible at once. Sounds like a lot of markers on the compass.
I mean, you clearly didn't see how many quests I was rocking on the beta. My favorite part of having a whole bunch of active is the entire right side of your screen's just filled with
wall of text. Yeah. I have so many screenshots I've sent to people where it's just early on, it was just text top to bottom. But that says here it's going to be up to 10 markers for quests, locations, hostile players, and enemies. 8 markers each for neutral players and targeted enemies. Up to 4 markers for teammates. And players can still use their Pip-Boys to toggle tracking off for individual quests if they prefer to reduce them. Oh, a total typo. Quests if they'd prefer to reduce them amount of quest markers in the compass and on screen.
Now, here's the interesting thing is that number right there, that only adds up to what, 22? While 60 markers in total can be visible. So are they talking about like location markers as well?
Must be like map locations. Yeah. Can't imagine being at any one given point on the map where you could have that like 38 possible location markers on top of those 22.
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
Well, hey.
It is what it is. So, and then after that, they give us a huge list of bug fixes, a lot of performance fixes, stability fixes, some graphic fixes,
achievement fixes.
Yeah, achievement fixes, blueprint fixes. There's a couple like the one for blueprints saying selected item is floating when the item wasn't actually floating. That's supposed to be fixed. Other little things. Some of the exploits have been removed. Unlimited storage, item duping, those are going to be gone. People can't unintentionally scrap their Pip-Boy. That'll be good.
Woo.
Yeah, I only heard about one person doing that, but I can't imagine it was a lot of fun.
I think I've heard about 2 or 3 people doing it.
This is a good one here for workshops. After powering up a power plant, power boxes at the power plant now correctly produce 400 power, and the boxes at surrounding workshops produce 100 power. Let's see, anything else worth mentioning?
The enemy fixes.
Honeybeasts.
The enemy fixes.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Fixed an issue that could cause enemies to remain stationary while they were out of combat.
That's not one I've seen.
Well, maybe they're supposed to be patrolling more often. I guess. You think about. I can think of a few certain instances, especially with super mutants, where they're just sort of standing there, and then like, watch them, and they'll just stand there. They usually just snipe them at that point, but maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll notice now a lot more movement. Bee swarms are no longer invisible.
Thank goodness.
I haven't had invisible bee swarms.
This has been an issue for so long.
Is it because like this morning especially I was running around and I came across an area with some bees with honeybeasts, and the bee swarms are totally visible. So I don't know, it must be just certain bee swarms in certain areas.
Really? Because the first time I tackled a honeybeast, I ended up dying about 3 times because I couldn't actually hit the swarms. Oh
yeah, I can. I don't know, but I feel like I killed them. No problem, but hey, bee swarms, if they were invisible for you previously, they will no longer be invisible.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, right. Trademark, maybe. On the subject of honeybeasts, they will no longer drop more adhesive than intended, and now drop a stack of 1 to 2 adhesive on death. So that's, I think it was 6 to 8 I was seeing before.
Yeah, enemies drop a lot of material.
Yeah, like I'm waiting for them to change the number of springs that the Yao-Guai drop. I think it's 8.
Yeah.
6 or 8 springs in a Yao-Guai.
It's like you kill a Wendigo, you get like so much like springs, gears, all of it.
Yeah, why do those bears have so many springs is what I'm wondering.
You know, they're hobbyists, Duke.
Yeah, right. They're working on their model cars, and yeah. I apologize for being so insensitive to the Yao-Guais. The Mirelurk Queen isn't going to hit so hard anymore. Her acid attack will no longer deal more damage than intended. Yep. And the Scorch Beast in glassed caverns can no longer fly through walls. So I haven't seen that one, but I can see where that'd be real annoying.
If it's the cavern I'm thinking of, the one that you go for the Brotherhood of Steel quest,
Yeah, that's where that cavern where the Brotherhood quest line ends.
was so annoying.
So I've been there, I did the quest, and then I've been there a couple times since just to harvest Ultracite. And the one Scorch Beast, I never took off in the air for me. I just ran up to it and meleeed it down. So,
Dang, you're lucky, Duke.
Well, if it's a bug fix, I'm sure it's been a problem. So much like the invisible bees, if you had wall-penetrating Scorch Beasts in the glass cavern, you will no longer. Let's see here. Bobbleheads and magazines should appear more often. They've bumped the spawn rate up 16%. And let's see, kind of flip through here and see if anything else looks really good.
Things will now be added to your inventory. You can get mutations correctly.
So he fixed an exploit affecting certain types of armor that could allow players to gain unlimited carry capacity during that play session. So no longer rotating armor in and out for unlimited carry capacity. Sorry, kids.
That would have been a nice one to know.
Yeah, I've seen people on Discord talking about it, and no longer. The precise stock mod on the pipe bolt action pistol no longer increases its rate of fire.
That's
okay.
A very odd glitch, but hey,
yeah,
it's fixed.
There you go. A lot of quest fixes too for little things. This is one, I thought this one was great, and I never knew why this was happening. They fixed an issue when completing the Feed the People quest event, where it granted a meat stew to all players on the server instead of just the participants of the quest.
See, I believe that Feed the People was supposed to grant meat stew to everybody. Because I think there's a tooltip somewhere, I think, in one of the slides that has, like, completing Feed the People will grant food to all the players.
Oh, well, they're saying here it wasn't. Maybe that tooltip was like, man, this bug, just put it in the tooltip, we'll fix it later. Like,
yeah,
it's possible. But
let's talk about personal matters. Have you done the personal matters quest?
Oh gosh, which one is personal matter? Oh yeah, I finished that a while ago.
How many times did you have to go back to the location before you could kill Evan?
Oh yeah, so for people that don't know, personal matters is the end of the Overseer's personal journal quest, and spoilers, you kill somebody, and I think I had to hop 15 or 16 times before he was spawned.
Yeah, I don't remember when I finally managed to get him spawned in correctly, but it was a lot.
Yeah, it was really frustrating too, because it's following the story and Overseer's notes on what was going on, and then you read that you listen to that last journal entry, and it's like, all right, this is all wrapping up. Oh, sorry, you got a server hop for 45 minutes to get this guy. Oops.
Well, and it's like every time you traveled there, there'd be like the holotape, the key card, you'd get in the building, and they'd already be dead. Like,
yep.
Everything respawned correctly, but the thing that needed to respawn correctly.
Right, but the guy that you had to take out, right? I did get a lot of screws and adhesive out of that, though, because going back down there and just picking up the random junk that would respawn. But yeah, so that is a pretty big one. Personal matters, you will no longer have to server hop to kill Evan. Would have been nice a couple weeks ago. Let's see here. A couple perk changes. Green Thumb isn't going to double... Well, it says here, double harvest benefit to this perk no longer incorrectly applies to Mothman eggs. So Green Thumb double Mothman eggs is no longer.
I'm waiting for them to fix the part where if you pick up like a plant that's just sitting on like a table or something, it gives you two of them.
No, whoops. But I haven't seen that one. I haven't run Green Thumb yet, so I'm going to start for harvesting flux.
I love Green Thumb.
The let's see, shotgun perks won't benefit the M79 grenade launcher anymore, and heavy gunner won't benefit the auto grenade launcher anymore.
So grenade launcher people, you've been nerfed.
Yep. Sorry. Let's see here. Weapon Artisan. This one's kind of a good one too. The bonus durability added to weapons is no longer suddenly lost after using the weapon a few times. I've seen that happen, and it's stupid and annoying, so I'm glad it's fixed. They did the same thing for Fix It Good, so the bonus durability added to armor won't suddenly be lost after getting hit a few times, making those perks actually worth having now. Let's see here. They fixed some of the issues with friends in the social menu. That's a good thing. Friends who have been blocked now remain visible in the friends list. I've had people where I appear, apparently I was blocked by them, but they didn't block me. So that'll be nice to be able to unblock people that way. Players will no longer be placed in a team alone if the player they previously invited disconnects from the game.
Ooh.
It's a weird one.
Going on to sound, we got the holotapes. Choosing play upon finding holotape in the world while using the Quick Boy version of the Pip-Boy no longer prevents his voiceover from playing. Yes!
So don't have to pick up the tape, go in the inventory, click it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be higher up in their patch notes. That should be like a spotlight.
That should be like the only bug fix. Just forget about the rest. I just want to be able to play the holotapes.
Yeah, that's huge. For the longest time, I just thought I was picking up blank holotapes, honestly. I was like, oh, okay, there's nothing on that one, whatever. And then there's just static runs in the background forever until I pick something else up.
Yes.
Let's see here. Level up daily challenge no longer remains completed. Win challenge was reset on a new day. A lot of little graphic settings and glitches and
localization, power armor,
hotkey stuff. Yeah, this one's interesting. I don't know what they're talking about here. Fast traveling with power armor that was purchased in the Atomic Shop no longer removes the Atomic Shop logo.
That's very specific. What are you talking about there?
Power armor purchased in the Atomic. You can buy power armor in the Atomic Shop.
I think they mean like the paints.
Okay, that makes more sense.
But like, does it like remove the Atomic Shop logo from like the crafting?
Yeah, I don't know, because I can't imagine. I don't have the power armor paints, but I can't imagine there's actually a shop logo somewhere on the paint.
That'd be kind of gaudy and
stupid. Yeah. I don't know what that one's about, but if you've noticed that particular very specific bug, rejoice. It is fixed after today. Choosing to respawn at the nearest map marker no longer occasionally causes the player to encounter an infinite loading screen, black screen, or error message. Respawning will work appropriately.
Hooray.
Melee attacks now correctly increase the critical meter in VATS. That's a pretty big one. I never use VATS in Melee, but there it is.
I used it a couple times. I don't remember why I decided to use it, but I have.
I just do power attacks with my hammer and aim it in the general direction of the thing and it dies. Yeah, that kind of wraps it up, really, I think, as far as big stuff. We could pick and choose through this whole list of...
Yeah, remember, kids, if you want another half hour of going over each and every talk note, $10.99. Official.
That's right.
Official. How did the vault store?
Find your mom's credit card. Get the numbers on the front and the 3-digit number on the back.
We're going to need your social security number and your mother's maiden name.
Visit DanielSandcarter.com when you call the FBI and tell them he's the one trying to steal mommy's credit card.
It's DanielSandcarter.com/notascam. Thank you very much.
Not a scam. That's right. So yeah, I think that'll about wrap it up for these patch notes. I know last week we kind of thought we would be getting the notes early, so we planned to do patch notes on Monday, but it kind of seems now like we'll be getting patch notes on Tuesday. So we're going to keep doing these as long as there is a patch, but when it comes out, it's going to really depend on when the patch notes come out. So
yeah, I'm hoping that this is a 1 week thing where it's like, oh, we have to throw together really detailed patch notes at the last minute.
Right, that very well could be it. Yeah, like, people want to know about all that stuff. Okay, here's everything. So that's very possible. So
we'll see.
Next week, patch. Yeah, we'll see. Next week, assuming there is a patch, which they said they're going to do weekly, we'll be back on Monday or Tuesday. And then we do have our full show this week coming out on Friday, where the three of us, Daniel and I and Ariel, will be discussing kind of the state of the game of 1 month in, talking about the Atomic Shop, some of the things there, and kind of whatever else floats our boat. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you out in the wastes.
See you guys.